G'day folks, what is going on? In this one, I want to give you a really quick actionable tip that you can take and use in your coaching or consulting business today to very rapidly filter out potentially pain in the ass clients. Okay, this is going to be one question that I want you to start weaving into your conversations or give to your team to start weaving into your conversations, and you will instantly know if this is going to be somebody who is going to cause you trouble or not. Okay, one single question. All right, if you aren't already, be sure to subscribe, give this video a like if you find it useful. Let me know in the comments if you actually go and implement this, how you go with it. If you want more information about what we do, head to www.jacobcaris.com. There'll be a link in the description. You can join our private community, email newsletter, see programs, all that kind of good stuff is over there. All right, but I want to keep this one really brief. I've just got back from Canberra, just back in the office, getting stuck into a couple of things, but wanted to get this video recorded and live for you folks this week. Okay, so let me set the scene for you really quickly, right? This is kind of on the assumption that you are, selling one-to-one in the DMs, right? Or potentially you could deploy this on the phone as well. We sell in Messenger and use PDFs and stuff like that, but you could use this on the phone as well. All right, so let me set the scene, and this will feel pretty familiar for most people, I would imagine, right? Let's say you've asked the question around, what is it that they want to achieve, and you're trying to picture or create that picture with them of the ideal outcome, or heaven island, depending on how you kind of frame it, or what their life might look like after you solve a certain problem. It's really the outcome or the goal that they're ultimately trying to pursue. Okay, then what you want to start getting into, and if you're like 1,000% confident that the person's going to be sweet, you've worked with them before, I wouldn't worry about this. But if you're a little bit unsure, or there's potentially some other red flags popping up, weave this in. Right? Ask them about, this isn't the question yet, but this is leading up to it. Ask them about what other programs they've invested in. Ask them about what other things they've tried in order to accomplish this goal that they want to potentially work with you on. And then ask them this. Once they've spoken about, the other programs that they've tried, the other strategies that they've tried, maybe they mentioned some other mentors that they've worked with, I want you to ask them this or some variation of this question. And so tell me, why do you think you haven't been able to achieve this yet? Okay. Now, a more blunt and more direct variation that you could run would be, so tell me, despite having been through all these programs and worked with all these mentors, why do you feel like you still haven't been able to achieve, outcome or solve, insert problem, right? That's a slightly more direct version, but the first iteration of it, just so tell me why you think you haven't been able to achieve this yet. It's kind of implied, right? They've just told you about all the things that they've done. And so it's kind of implied that it's like, despite these things, why haven't you been able to achieve this? Okay, now this is where the magic comes into it, and this is what you've really got to listen to in this question. You want to pay attention to if they take responsibility for the fact that they aren't where they want to be yet, or if they immediately blame all of the programs, all of their previous mentors, all of their previous coaches as the reason they aren't where they want to be, or as the reason they've still got their problem. Okay, and here's why, right? I'll raise my hand and I'll say, look, there's 100% stuff in the market that isn't great, and people will have bad experiences, right? I'm not saying that, coaches don't deliver a bad experience, and there might not be some stories like that out there. But if they've joined 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 programs and they're still stuck, the likelihood that it's the program is pretty low, right? Unless they're just consistently investing in shit programs and shit mentors and they're a bit of a glutton for punishment, it's pretty unlikely that it's going to be the program, okay? So here's where the answer is really insightful. If they take responsibility and they say, I invested in these things, but I didn't fully execute on them, or I didn't follow through on all the advice, or I didn't follow the plan exactly, or there was something in this one but it didn't quite align with what I wanted to do, and so I'm looking to do. If they take responsibility in any way, shape or form for the fact they aren't where they want to be, you're good, right? They're probably going to be okay. But if they're in the other bucket and it's all blame on previous program, previous mentor, previous consultant, previous coach, there's a very strong likelihood that you're going to be the next person that they blame in 60 to 90 days. Because if there's a track record of having worked with 3, 5, 10 coaches, programs, and they still haven't been able to solve a problem, they still aren't where they want to be, it's probably them. It's probably not the program, for the reason that I mentioned before. Right. And so then if you really want to protect your energy, you want to be steering away from people who are going to be very challenging to fix, right? you're going to have to perform a miracle, because it's very unlikely to be strategic help that they need. There's probably some deep stuff going on, and unless you're in the business of, you know, going deep on mindset, is probably not going to be a client that you want to pursue. So what that question does is it very quickly allows you to sift and sort who are the people that take responsibility for their own shit and who are the people who refuse to raise their hand and take responsibility, right? And even if a program is crap, there's nothing you can do about it, right? So there's only one option there, and it's to take responsibility and go, I invested in the wrong program, because you still made the choice, right? Like, I bought stuff in the past and I'm like, okay, that was crap, right? Could I get angry at that person and you know, let it bog me down that they didn't deliver on their promises? Sure, but what does it accomplish, right? The best thing for me to do is raise my hand and go, yeah, okay, I invested in it, but it was crap. So I'll take some lessons out of what not to do, or, you know, try to derive some value in some way, shape or form. But really, with that question, you're looking to sift and sort between who takes responsibility and who doesn't take responsibility. And it's a great way to make sure that you protect yourself from clients who are going to want you to do everything for them. Because as a coach, as a mentor, as a consultant, your job isn't to run their business for them. Your job isn't to run their life for them. It's to be a trusted advisor and to guide based on your own experience. Do not forget that, because you will have clients who want you to do everything, okay? And if you don't do everything, they'll get pissed off and frustrated. Now, when you hear an answer like, oh, well, it was this program's fault and that program's fault, then you've got to have the strength to say, look, I don't think I'm going to be able to, you know, be your superhero in this case, right? I don't think it's going to be any different if you've already been through all these programs and haven't been able to achieve it. You need to be able to be frank and be honest in order to protect yourself from that potentially, you know, painful and frustrating situation. And some people will blow up at that. Some people won't like that. They'll really flare up and get angry. And it's just more evidence that you've dodged a bullet. Okay, so weave this question in. Like I said, if you're like 1,000% sure and they seem sweet and good to go, probably don't need to use it. But if there's a couple of other red flags, you're not sure, there's, you know, something from an application that you're like, don't really know, weave that one in and see where they lay blame or take responsibility. And it'll be a really, really good indicator as to if they're going to be somebody that you want to work with or not, or if you could potentially be the next head on the chopping block. All right, I'm just getting settled back into the office. I'm going to get stuck into it. I hope you find that one valuable and helpful. Go and use it. Let me know how it goes. Head over to jacobcaris.com and have a fantastic week. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.